So we will discuss about the phenomena of reflection and refraction of electromagnetic waves. So to study the reflection and refraction, we can say also transmission, we require a boundary that will separate two different mediums. So the boundary will separate two different mediums, and so the two mediums can be dielectric mediums, or the two mediums can be also conducting medium. So for that purpose, we will initially consider a boundary here, and let us say that boundary lies in xy plane, and here the boundary is perpendicular to the plane of the board. So the boundary lies along this is we can say x-axis. This side is parallel to x-axis, and this side is parallel to y-axis. Therefore the boundary lies in xy plane, and this is the plane. And if the boundary represents the xy plane and an electromagnetic wave is incident like this, so the direction of propagation of the electromagnetic wave, and this can be treated as your z direction. So the boundary lies in xy plane and the electromagnetic wave is propagating along z directions. So to represent the propagation of the electromagnetic wave, you require a propagation vector. So here the propagation vector is along z axis. Now this boundary separates, let us say, two dielectric mediums. Initially we will consider the medium on this side and the medium on this side. Both are dielectric in nature, and to distinguish between the two mediums, we say this is medium 1 on the left of the boundary, and this is medium 2 on the right. And the two dielectric mediums will be characterized by different parameters like dielectric constant, magnetic permeability, speed of the light in the constant medium, refractive index, like these different parameters. Yeah. So on the medium 1, those parameters are, we can say, epsilon 1, that is the permittivity for the medium 1. You can write mu1, permeability of the medium. We can say refractive index for this particular medium. Then we can say speed of electromagnetic wave in these mediums. Similarly, when you go for medium 2, these characteristics will change like this. N2 is the refractive index of the electromagnetic wave for this medium. Permittivity, electric permittivity of this medium, medium 2, magnetic permeability, then the speed of the electromagnetic wave. Yeah. Now, you consider an electromagnetic wave now propagating along z direction is incident on this medium. Now, if it is incident on this medium, the phenomena of the light striking a medium, we can study using normal incidence and oblique incidence. So normal incidence and oblique incidence. So what is a normal incidence? Normal incidence means if this is the boundary, an electromagnetic wave will strike perpendicular to it. That is a normal incidence. Yeah. So this class we will discuss about the phenomena of reflection and the refraction of the electromagnetic wave for normal incidence only. So for that purpose, I will show you an incident electromagnetic wave like this. You see, an electromagnetic wave is incident like this, and three vector will characterize this incident wave. One is your propagation vector that is perpendicular to the boundary and along z-axis, and as you know, the electromagnetic waves are associated with both electric field and magnetic field. So here the electric field is along y-axis and the magnetic field along x-axis. So these three will characterize the incident waves, and we can write the equations for these electric field and magnetic field. And how to write the equations for electric field? EI will be equal to E naught I, then e to the power I, we can have Ki Z minus omega t, and the electric field as on positive y-axis, so it will be J cap. So this is the wave equations. I may not elaborate much, we have already known it. This electric field lies along positive y-axis, so it is having J cap, and the propagation vector is having only Z component, so we have only Kz. And this is the equations you get. And this is what your amplitude of the electric field. Similarly, you can write an expression for the magnetic field that lies along x-axis, and the magnetic field will be equal to, this is the amplitude of the magnetic field, then e to the power I, then this is Ki. Again I will write Ki Z minus omega t, but the magnetic field lies along positive x-axis, so I can say I cap. So this gives the propagation of the electromagnetic wave, and this J cap gives the direction of the electric field, and I cap gives the direction of the magnetic field, and these two represents the amplitude of the electric field and magnetic field respectively. Now, as you know, in this medium, the light propagates with the speed v1, and the amplitude of the electric field and the magnetic field are related as, now the magnitude of the magnetic field will be equal to magnitude of the electric field divided by the velocity. This expressions already we know it, because the velocity of the electromagnetic wave is the ratio of strength of the electric field to magnetic field. Therefore, we can replace this magnitude of the electric field in terms of magnitude of the, like this. So magnitude of the magnetic field is equal to magnitude of the electric field by V1, then you get e to the power I, then Ki Z minus omega t I cap. So why this is done? To reduce the number of variables will be there, because this is in terms of strength of the electric field. Now this is also in the strength of the electric field, where V1 is the velocity of the electromagnetic wave. Now what happens? When the electromagnetic wave is incident, part of the energy is reflected back. So what happens when a part of energy is reflected back, and a part of the energy will be transmitted to the next medium? So we will have reflected wave and we will have a transmitted wave. So let me write the expression for the reflected electromagnetic wave. So what happens to the reflected wave? You see, and now the reflected wave, for the reflected wave, the propagation vector will be just the opposite, like this, we can see. That means if this propagation vector is along positive z-axis, now the reflected wave will be just along the negative z-axis. Kr will be like this. And other factor remains, like this is the ER, is the electric field for the reflected wave, and this is for the. So how to write the expression for the electric field for the reflected wave? You see, electric field for the reflected wave, you can write by simply changing the Z to minus Z for the reflected wave. So let me write for electric field, this is the reflected component, and this is the amplitude of the electric field for the reflected part, then E, I, In case of incident wave, it was ki into z, but as the direction is reversed, it will be minus kr into z minus omega t, and the reflected amplitude is along y-axis. So I'll write j cancel here. Okay. Similarly, for magnetic field, we can write Br will be equal to, this is the amplitude of the magnetic field, then E, then I, it will be minus kr into z minus omega t, and this will be around I cap. And in the same way, let me express the strength of the magnetic field in terms of strength of the electric field. So it will be EOR, but here that will change. You have to divide by velocity. But what happens? Here the velocity of the reflected wave is just reversed, because if this velocity is V1 is like this, and for the reflected wave it just propagates with a negative velocity. So this we can have the EOR, and you give a minus symbol here, then it will be V1, then e to the power I, then this part will remain uncertain. So this is how we get the expressions for the magnetic field for the reflected wave. The negative sign shows that the direction of the velocity is reversed. Then we will go to the transmitted part. So how to write the expression for the transmitted part? What happened to the transmitted part? The velocity will change, refractive index will change, permittivity will change, permeability will change, everything will change. And here the transmitted part and the propagation vector for the transmitted part I have symbolized as ET, and it is associated with an electric field again ET, and here it is BT. So this is the propagation vector for the transmitted wave. Ki is the propagation vector for incident wave. Kr is the propagation vector for the reflected wave, and similar way you can write the expression for electric field and magnetic field for the transmitted wave, which propagates along positive z-axis. So we can write Et will be equal to Eto, then e to the power I, it is ktz minus omega t, and this is, we can have that a simple equation, ktz minus omega t, and this Et lies along y-axis and magnetic field lies along x-axis. And the similar way you can convert this amplitude of the magnetic field in terms of velocity. So, but what is the velocity of the electromagnetic wave in the second medium? We have represented as V2. So this VTO will be equal to ETO upon V2 e to the power I ktz minus omega t. So this is the preliminary work we have to do. That means incident wave, part of the energy is reflected, part of the energy is transmitted, and what we have done, we have written the expressions for electric field and magnetic field in the incident side, transmitted side, and reflected part separately. So after doing this preliminary work, our main objective is to study the changing behavior of the electromagnetic wave when it is reflected, and what changes in behavior is observed when the wave is transmitted. So to study the behavior, we will take the help of boundary conditions. As already we have discussed, different boundary conditions. So what happens to the boundary conditions? You see, this electric field is along y-axis, and this is along x-axis, and the propagation is along z-axis. And you see the boundary lies in xy plane. So when the boundary lies in xy plane, this y, and the electric field also lies along y-axis. So this we can say the tangential component of the electric field, because this vector is a tangent to this plane. Similarly, all are tangential component. The electric field is the tangential component because it is along y-axis, as well as the magnetic field also are along the tangential components, because the boundary itself lies in xy plane. So when the boundary lies in xy plane, So the electric field and the magnetic fields are the tangential components. Because the propagation vector is only the normal component, z-axis, or z direction is the normal to the boundary, whereas all these y and x components are tangential to the boundary. And if you remember the certain boundary conditions, what are the boundary conditions for tangential component of electric field? Now it says that near the boundary means you have to put your z will be equal to 0, isn't it? So what happens near the boundary? Your tangential component is continuous. What do you mean by tangential component is continuous? The total tangential component of the electric field on the left must be same as the total tangential component of the electric field on the right. So on the left, what are the electric field? It is EI and ER. So I can write EI plus ER, that is the total tangential electric field on the left of the medium. This will be equal to the total electric field on the right. That according to the tangential component of the, or continuity nature of the tangential component of the electric field. And if you substitute the values of EI and ER, what you will get? Now EI will be equal to EOI, then e to the power I, and we have these equations, you know, like this. This is for incident wave, and for reflected wave we can find like this, I, then it will be minus air into z minus omega t. This should be equal to E TO, then e to the power I kt into z minus omega t. And all these vectors are along z axis, y axis. But we have to test the conditions near the boundary. That means we will put z will be equal to 0. So if we put z will be equal to 0, this equation will be reduced to EOI, then e to the power minus I omega t, j cap plus, you can have EOR minus I omega t, j cap, and you have minus you get like this. Near the boundary I have put z will be equal to 0. And now these vectors will cancel out, and what you will get? Very simple equations you will get now. In terms of amplitude, we can write, in terms of amplitude we can write keep it at one equation. That equation is being reached applying the continuity equation. Similar continuity equations now will apply for magnetic field. And as you know, if you apply the boundary conditions for tangential component of the magnetic field, it says that this is the equations you will find. Tangential component of the magnetic field in the second medium minus tangential component of the magnetic field in the first medium, and the difference will give you the current per unit length. Be there. But also we have considered the two mediums to be dielectrics, so no current is there. So when no current is there, we can say that the tangential component of magnetic field is also continuous. That means you find the tangential component of the magnetic field on this side, and this side will be same. This is H, and you can convert to in terms of B, magnetic field induction. So B1T by mu1, you will find B2T by mu2. What are mu1 and mu2? Already I have defined. Mu1 and mu2 are the permeability of the medium on the left of the boundary and on the right of the boundary respectively. So if you find out what is the magnetic field in the medium 1, now the magnetic field in the medium 1 is comprising of the incident part as well as of the reflected part. whereas the magnetic field in the medium 2 comprises only the transmitted part. So this you can write B I plus BR, we can say, by mu1. This will be equal to BT by mu2. This is how you can change this. Okay. Now you can write the expressions for BI, BR and BT. That already we have done it. And as we are studying near the boundary, we will put Z will be equal to 0. And if you put Z will be equal to 0, this equation will be just reduced in terms of their amplitudes in the similar way. So what equations we will get now from here? Now BIO by mu1 plus BRO by mu1. This will be equal to BTO by mu2. This is the equations we will get from here to here. This is only the strength of the magnetic field for the incident part, reflected part, transmitted part. Now you have converted to them in terms of amplitudes, post transfer amplitudes. Now let us convert this in terms of electric field. So how to get in terms of electric field? Now you know the magnetic field will be equal to electric field strength by velocity. So you can write by V1 mu1. V1 is the velocity of the electromagnetic wave in the medium 1. Then we have got E by V1 mu1, and here by mu2. Because on the second medium the velocity is V2, and by this is the equations you get. And let me see. But what happens here? This is the incident part and this is the reflected part. And this B1 is the velocity of the electromagnetic wave for the incident part. And this is the velocity of the electromagnetic wave for the reflected part. And we have to take the directions into account. These two are in the opposite directions. So your actual equations will be minus here. And from here we can find EIO minus ERO. You can take this by simple expressions and you can find V1 V1 by V2 mu2 into EPO. This is the equations we get. So this is the equations we have obtained by applying the boundary conditions for magnetic field, and what we have obtained by applying the boundary conditions for electric field, that we have obtained EIO plus ERO is equal to EPO. So these two important expressions we have obtained. This is by applying the tangential component of electric field, and this is by applying the tangential component of magnetic field. Now let me symbolize this as beta. So you can replace, for simplicity of mathematical calculations, I can replace this by beta, where your beta will be equal to V1 V1 by mu2 V2. That beta will be decided by what are the nature of the dielectrics on both sides. Because this is your permeability of the two mediums and this is the velocity, when velocity will be determined by the permittivity. Now these two equations now can be solved. To obtain the expression for electric field in the incident part and to obtain the expression for electric field in the reflected part will be there. So by just you see adding the two equations, what you get, if you add the two equations, you will get a 2 EIO will be equal to 1 plus beta EPO. You get like this. and or here you can find what is the reflected part. Will be equal to 2 by 1 plus beta. This is the equation. That means this will give you an idea about what is the amplitude of the electric field in the transmitted part in terms of amplitude of the electric field in the incident part. In the similar way, you can solve that the other part of the equations to get this. These are two important equations you will get. One for, you see, this is giving you what is the amplitude of the electric field in the transmitted in terms of amplitude of the electric field in the incident, and this will give you the amplitude of the electric field in the reflected part in terms of amplitude of the electric field in the incident part. Now, you can do simple calculations here, and you can substitute the values of the beta here. How much beta we have defined? Now, beta we have defined as V1 V1 by mu2 V2. So, if you replace beta as V1 V1 by mu2 V2, you can find these expressions in terms of the velocity of the electromagnetic wave and in terms of permeability of the two mediums. So, if you substitute, you can get certain equations like this. So, let me say these equations you will get. This will get in terms of velocities and permeability. Still, you can express them in other ways also. Let me say in terms of refractive index. So, how to define B1 and B2? You see, B1 we can the velocity of the electromagnetic wave in the first medium, and N1 is the refractive index of the electromagnetic wave of the first medium. So, how you can relate N1 and B1? Now, you know the refractive index for a particular medium is the ratio of, like this, you can see. Sorry, your N1 will be equal to ratio of speed of light in the vacuum by speed of light in the constant medium. Similarly, for the second medium, you can write N2 will be equal to C upon B. This is how you will get from here. Now, I want to express these equations in terms of the refractive index. So, what you get? You have to just replace this V1 and V2 in terms of this. So, how to get V1 here? Now, the velocity of light will be equal to C by N1, and here V2 will be equal to C by N2, and we just substitute V1 as C by N1 and V2 as C by N2, and what equations you will get after substituting it? So this you get. So the point is, we can find the amplitude for the transmitted wave and amplitude for the reflected wave in terms of amplitude of the incident wave through various parameters. What are the parameters? Initially, we took the help of mu1 and v1. Then we converted in terms of the refractive index. So you get these final expressions now. Next. Suppose we say the mediums are non-magnetic in nature. So what happens when the mediums are non-magnetic in nature? So when the mediums are non-magnetic in nature, you can say V1 will be equal to mu2. No change of permeability when the light propagates or the electromagnetic wave propagates from one medium to another medium. So if you take mu1 by mu2 will be equal to 1. So these equations will be now reduced to, you can have now EOT will be equal to, if you check there. Now how much you will get? We will get a 2n1 divided by n2 plus n1 into EOI. This is the equations you will get. And what about for the reflected wave? You will get EOI will be equal to, this is 1 minus n2 upon n1. So you will get n1 minus n2 divided by, you will get n1 plus n2 into E. You get like this. Now you see, these are the simple equations you will get, provided the two mediums on both sides of the boundary are non-magnetic in nature, and you have put mu1 will be equal to mu2, and this is the equations you will get like this. And if you want to express in terms of velocity, and again easily you can find it in terms of velocity, because you know the refractive index is inversely proportional to the velocity. So you can replace n1 by like this, and you replace n2 by this, and in terms of velocity what you get now, EOT will be equal to, in terms of velocity, if you replace this, and from here this is, so from here you will get, and from here either you can express. So these are the simple forms of the expressions. If you choose or if you neglect the permeability of the two mediums. Okay. So after these general discussions, the main objective is to evaluate reflectivity. This is symbolized as R. So what do you mean by reflectivity? Now reflectivity is defined as the intensity of reflected wave divided by intensity of incident wave. What is intensity? Now what is intensity? Now intensity is equal to the amount of energy distributed per unit area per unit time, that we know it. And also we have shown that intensity is equal to the product of energy density into the velocity. This is how you can express the intensity. It is the product of energy density into a velocity. Now what is the energy density in electric field? It is half epsilon is the permittivity of that medium, then the strength of the field square, half epsilon E square into velocity. This is how you can get the intensity. So intensity depends on the three different parts. So intensity depends on the permittivity, intensity depends on the strength of the electric field, square of the electric field, and intensity depends on the velocity to be there. So what happens when you compare the intensity of the reflected wave and intensity of the incident wave? And because the reflected wave and the incident wave both lies on the medium 1, that means this is the incident wave and this is the reflected wave, both are having the same velocity. So velocity is same for the incident and for the reflected wave. Epsilon is same for the incident and reflected wave. Therefore, the intensity will be now proportional to, only I can say it is square of the amplitude of the electric field, because epsilon and V are same for the incident wave and reflected wave. So taking this into considerations, so how to get the reflectivity? Now the reflectivity will be simply the ratio of like this. Reflectivity is the ratio of square of the amplitude of the reflected to amplitude of the incident wave, and that already we have obtained these expressions. So what is the expressions we have obtained in terms of beta? Now this will be 1 minus beta and 1 plus square. This is the expression for reflectivity we have obtained. And in terms of velocity also we can find, and in terms of velocity how much this will be? It will be b2 minus b1 by b2 plus b1 square. Provided here an assumption is that your v1 will be equal to v2. This way you can get the reflectivity. Then let us evaluate transmittivity. So what is transmittivity? In the similar way, you can define the transmittivity as the ratio of intensity of transmitted part or wave by intensity of the incident part. That means if a electromagnetic wave is incident, what fraction of the energy is transmitted? So when you go for calculation of transmittivity, this is how intensity of the transmitted wave. Now this will be your energy density of epsilon 2, then Et square. This is your energy density in the transmitted part. You see the permittivity is epsilon 2. Energy density into velocity. Velocity is v2 divided by half. What is the energy density for the incident part? It is half epsilon 1 EI square. What is the velocity? Velocity is v1. And what you get? Now this will be equal to epsilon 2 by epsilon 1. Then you get Et by EI square. Then you get V2 by V1. V2. This is how we get. And if you substitute the Et by EI all we have obtained, you will get the expressions for the transmittivity to be 4 V1 V2 by V1 plus V2 square. So from here to here, this is the result you will get. If you substitute these two values, you will get like this. So you take it as an assignment to proceed from here to here and solve this. You will get the transmittivity as 4 V1 V2 by V1 plus V2 square. You use these results as already we have derived. And what is your epsilon 2 and epsilon 1? You know that your epsilon 2 is the permittivity of the second medium and epsilon 1 is the permittivity of the first medium. And as you know, epsilon 1 into mu1 will be equal to 1 upon v1 square, and epsilon 2 into mu2 will be 1 upon v2 square. So you can use these results, these and these results, and you can reach here. So after you get the transmittivity and reflectivity, so let me write the conclusions what we have obtained. We have got the reflectivity as B2 minus B1 by B2 plus B1 square, and we have got the transmittivity as 4B1 B2 by B1 plus B2 square. And if you use the concept of conservation of energy, what is the conservation of energy? Here the light is incident here, and part of the energy is reflected and a part of the energy is transmitted. So this represents fraction of energy which is reflected, and this represents the fraction of energy which is transmitted. And if you can verify here, if you find R plus T, from here you substitute R and T, and you can easily show this will be equal to 1. That confirms your conservation of energy. Okay.